Auntie Mickey's house. Oh yeah, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house. You're in the house. You know you're in the house. Come on in and grab a seat, grab a seat. Come on in and hit that light, hit that light. Oh, you're Aunt Mickey's house. Yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Grab a seat, grab your feet. Let's sip some tea, sip that tea. Entertainment, news, and spirituality. From the culture to the fun, Auntie sets the tone. Sets the tone. With a laugh and a truth, she holds the throne. She holds the throne, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Come on in now. Auntie Mickey's house. Oh, Auntie's house. You're in the house. You know you're in the house. Come on in and grab a seat, yeah, yeah. Come on in and hit that like, don't forget now. Auntie Mickey's house. She can roast with a smile, drop wisdom too. Break down the headlines, bring it straight to you. Straight to you, baby. Community strong, conversation grown. Grown talk, baby. Auntie Mickey's house, make yourself at home, yeah. Come together, every voice is heard. Every voice. Respect the vibe, let's share the word. Oh, yeah. From the jokes to the prayer, she keeps it real. Keeps it real. Auntie Mickey's house, that's the deal. That's the deal, baby. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house. Oh yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house. On in the house. You know you're in the house. Come on in and grab a seat, grab a seat. Come on in and hit the light, hit the light, hit the light. You're at Auntie Mickey's, yeah, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie Mickey's, Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie Mickey's house. It's Auntie Mickey's house. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house. You're in the house. You know you're in the house. Come on in and grab a seat, grab a seat. Come on in and hit that light, hit that light. Oh, you're at Auntie Mickey's. Yeah, 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 yeah. Auntie's house. Auntie's house. Auntie's house. Grab a seat, drop your feet. Let's sip some tea. Sip that tea. Entertainment, news, and spirituality. From the culture to the fun, Auntie sets the tone. Sets the tone. With a laugh and a truth, she holds the throne. She holds the throne, yeah. Auntie's house. Oh, Auntie's house. You know you're in the house. Come on in and grab a seat, yeah. Come on in and hit that light, don't forget. She can roast with a smile, drop wisdom too. Break down the headlines, bring it straight to you. Straight to you, baby. Community strong, conversation grown. Grown talk, baby. Auntie Mickey's house, make yourself at home, yeah. Come together, every voice is heard. Every voice, respect the vibe, let's share the word. From the jokes to the prayer, she keeps it real. Keeps it real, keeps it real. That's the deal, that's the deal, baby. Yeah, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house, Auntie's house, oh yeah. You know you're in a house. Come on in and grab a seat. auntie, come on in and hit that light, oh, your auntie Mickey's, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house, Auntie Mickey's house, Auntie Mickey's house, oh.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Happy Friday. Oh my goodness, this week went by too fast for me. And that's weird to say that, but I've been child-free all week, so it was a nice little vacation. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. So, hello, everybody. I hope everyone's having a wonderful, wonderful Friday. It's the top of the weekend. Yes, it is. And I hope wherever you are, the sun is shining down on you. And I hope it ain't too hot. Because if it's too hot, go in the house. Turn on the AC. We don't need AC yet. It ain't that hot up here yet. But anyway, I was basically watching YouTube for the last couple days. And I've been addicted to these videos that are talking about, epic hair failures, like hair braiding shops and stuff like that. And I've just been enamored with those videos. But I was able to break away for just a few minutes because I did want to touch on the story of Nolan Wells, because as many of you probably know by now, this is not a story that hit mainstream media for several days, it's just indicative of the times we live in because of the orange orangutan in the office. He's set a precedent for this country. They don't want to look at nothing of substance, and especially if it make them look bad. But I'm gonna leave that alone. But if you don't know about the story of Nolan Wells. Nolan Wells was a 18-year-old college student, wonderful athlete. He was a mega athlete, is what one would describe him as. He was very, very, very elite in his abilities to play football. And this story takes place in Mississippi. Need I say more? So Nolan, over the 4th of July, went kicking it with three of his Caucasian friends. And they've been friends since grade school. So they ain't somebody that, they're not people that just met. But nevertheless, these four young men went out on one of the kids' boats, because these are all affluent families. Okay. Affluent families. Hold on just a second. I done messed up already. Affluent families, Caucasian families. One person in one family is a stepmother. She's a judge. Another is an attorney. Another one is a doctor. So you know where I'm going with this. And of course, Nolan's parents, father's black, mother's Asian, and they weren't doing too bad either. So he was in a predominantly Caucasian setting for the most part of his life. And they go out over the 4th of July holiday, and him and his friends, they go out on the boat. They go up on some island over there in Mississippi. I guess it was caught on camera. An argument had broke out between the boys, the young men, and mysteriously, the 4 went to the island and only 3 came back. And the behavior of the 3, well, let me back up. We'll just say who came back. The 3 white boys came back, and Nolan didn't. That looks weird in itself, but we're not going to jump to conclusions yet. Until you hear more information. Okay, I already came to my conclusion. I ain't gonna lie, because number one, this is Mississippi. And if you know what I'm talking about, you already know. But apparently a little argument took place, and hello Cece, how you doing? Hi Lisa Bruno. Hello Barbara. Hello baby, I see you up there. But nevertheless, they apparently an altercation had took place. Someone caught it on camera. There was some kind of a verbal altercation, and when it came time for everybody to go home, white boys left, and the black dude mysteriously was not on board with them, but his cell phone was. The cell phone was actually located with one of the boys at his house later, after the fact. But what I'm going to do, rather than tell you the story, I've got some clips here. I've got an interview on Good Morning America from this morning. The parents of Nolan, they break their silence on Good Morning America this morning. So I'm going to let the video speak for itself. I also have, there was a press conference with the parents and their attorney. They've acquired the services of attorney Ben Crump. And when Ben Crump get on something, it's on and popping. It's definitely going to be on and popping. And now they have also on the team Al Sharpton. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start out with the interview on Good Morning America. Also, just to let you know, there's a content creator here on YouTube. I'm sure many of you have heard of him. His name is Storm Monroe. I listened briefly to his video on this subject, and a young lady actually dropped a audio into his DMs about this very subject. Apparently, she was a friend of them. So, again, without further ado, let me go ahead and start playing this video for you, and I'll be back. Hold on. I'm still trying to get used to this again. So, hold on just a second. And let me also turn down this music. Okay. Put a 1 in the chat if that's good. If the music is good, if it's not too loud for you. Okay. Let's get this thing started here.
More on the mysterious death of Nolan Wells. We're joined by his parents, Christine and Elmore Wansley, as well as their attorney, Ben Crump. And before we get started, first off, I want to thank you for being here under these circumstances. Know how extremely tough it must be, and we can express our how sorry we are for you and your family. And first question, how are you two holding up?
Taking it second by second.
Day by day. Second by second and day by day, which we all can understand. And I just want to ask you, the friends that Nolan traveled to Horn Island with.
First of all, let me just say this, because someone had made a comment earlier on another platform, because, this has been shown on several platforms. And a comment was made about her laugh. People grieve differently. And I can't imagine what these parents are going through. I have a good idea, because I lost my son too, but this is different. This just cuts different, because within my heart of hearts, I believe that something was done to that young man. I don't believe that this was an accident. I really don't. Yes, nervous laugh. She's on national television. Of course she's going to have a nervous laugh. So, people grieve differently, and you're on a national platform talking about the worst day in your life. Can you imagine to have to get up on a public platform and discuss the worst day in your life? So I got to give it to this mother. She's holding it down. The both of them, both parents are holding it down, because I don't know too many that could be so stoic, if you know what I'm saying. This is a very courageous couple. And to squash all the bullshit that people like to say about black children not having a daddy, don't know who their daddy is. This is clearly indicative of a well-rounded family where the father is present. So I love that. I love that. This isn't some, oh, well, we got to find the daddy before we go have it. No, he's in the household too. He was raising his son. And people need to stop with that shit. Black families don't usually have the daddy present. That's bullshit. Stop it. I'm sorry. Let me get off my soapbox.
They say that he stayed behind voluntarily. Why would he stay behind?
That we cannot answer. I can't fathom why he would.
I don't know why he would. We always taught him to, if you go with a group, you stay with a group. Mm-hmm. Even when he was in college, he would say, Dad, well, we're gonna ride down to a party or something in another city. So I was telling him, look, if you go with 5, you come back with 5. Do not separate from the group. Because I always said safety is in numbers. Mm-hmm. And he always said, yes, sir. So he knew to stay with his group. So why would he split from his group? I don't know.
So that would have been unusual for him to split from the group. Yeah. And you said he would always check in with you. Did he check in with you that day?
So that day, no, I don't. But of course, too, they were on the boat. And usually when he is out there, which it's not uncommon, he's, I think, since last year, he's been going there occasionally with his friends. And so it would always just be like, hey, Mom, I'm back type of thing. But this time there was no call or text from him. It was from his friend.
And then too, really didn't worry a lot about it because it was his last weekend to have fun. Yeah. Because that Monday he had to report to school. We was preparing to take him back for camp to prepare for the season. So, we understand he wanted to have his last hurrah before he locked down and get ready for the season. Because like I said, the entire summer he's training. He got more serious. He started to understand what I was trying to tell him about. Football not just being fun, but as you get farther in it, it becomes a business. If you want to excel, you have to understand and have to understand both at the same time.
And we know, Ben, that you said that you're going to do an independent investigation.
Yes. And
you say you have Nolan's cell phone and messages were deleted. How could you tell messages were deleted?
This is again very disturbing to me in that because of the behavior of his friends, very valuable evidence was lost. Let's be real about it. Very valuable evidence that could have been collected because of their inaction, because of their inaction of coming back and saying our friend is missing or whatever. See, they went kicking it for a while before they even came back home. It's just, again, this whole situation is so fucked up. Excuse my French. It's so fucked up and it's so blatant. It's so blatant that something happened. But because these parents are affluent and have power, they got some money, it's all about the cover up. That's just my opinion. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not biting my tongue. Yes, Barbara, you're absolutely correct. The police can get those deleted messages. Isn't that ironic, though? Why would his messages even be deleted? I believe them boys came home and dumped this in their parents' lap because other information has surfaced as to movements of these boys and the parents the night of, after they came home. You know, they dumped this in their parents' lap and says, take care of this, we can't. You know what I'm saying? Let me get back to this. That would do that, let alone a kid or a young adult. You feel me? Our cell phones are now our lifeline. We're in a time now that this, I don't have mine. It's in the other room. But our cell phones are our lifeline. Most people don't know the phone numbers in those cell phones by heart. Because the cell phone just call so-and-so, phone will call it for you. Okay? I don't know a kid on this planet my grandsons are 12 years old. They go nowhere without their cell phones, and they're 12. So there's not a kid on this planet that would leave their cell phone behind for anybody. There's very few phone numbers. I think I remember 2 phone numbers in my phone by heart. And that's mine and my husband's. I don't know nobody else's by heart. That's how cell phones are our lifeline now. And for one of them kids to end up with his cell phone, and matter of fact, they didn't come out and just take the cell phone to the parents. The parents had to go get it. They wasn't even trying to give it to him. See, this thing, it stinks. It don't pass the smell test.
There are so many questions that need to be answered. And is there anything you'd like people to know about Nolan? What would you like them to know about your son?
This part, I couldn't take it. Ooh, Jesus. Okay. Let me just say this, because this part gets me very emotional to watch this woman go through this on camera. I just couldn't. Hey, Miss Purple. The fact that they said that the body washed up on shore immediately clicked in my mind. Then he didn't pass away on that island. If his body washed up on shore, then that body, that boy, that young man did not die on the island. It would have already been there. Not washed up. It would have been there already. This is a flat surface. This ain't like Fantasy Island where there's all kind of trees and buildings and all that stuff. This is one big island, flat island. If you see the videos of it, it's like you'd see somebody standing way across the way. That's how flat it is. But if his body washed ashore, it had to have washed ashore from somewhere else to the island. It was said earlier that his body was found on the island, but now they're saying that the body washed ashore. So that opens a whole set of questions with me. Did he get on the boat to come home with those boys? I mean, hey, if he washed ashore, I'm just saying, I'm just letting my own gears turn.
No,
It's okay.
Nolan. Take your time. Nolan was very loving. He was liked by all. It was not a friend he couldn't make.
No, we'll be right back with more for the parents of Nolan Wells and attorney Ben Crump. We're back now on GMA with the parents of Nolan Wells, Christine and Elmore Wansley.
Cece says, what would be the motivation? Nolan was a very accomplished athlete. He could stand on his own. He was the shit. And one thing is for sure with some people, they take on the mentality, and this has been a historic truth. We've seen it take place with white and black people, the dynamic of white and black people for decades. For decades. When black people or a young black man who's doing well, probably better than those that he's with, take on that mentality. If I can't have it, neither can you. I say that because we've got several references to go by. Rosewood, Tulsa, Oklahoma, just to name a couple. Black people were doing so well in those communities, and white people came and burned it down. Because why? We ain't doing so good, and you guys are. I'm going to be real about it. What took place in Tulsa, Oklahoma was the first time U.S. bombs were dropped on U.S. soil. First time in this country where bombs from our own bombs were dropped on our soil, on a black community that was doing well, prospering. And that jealousy set in. Somebody came out and said that some young black man said something derogatory to a white woman or something of that nature, and it was just a bullshit story. That's all they needed. And they burned that place down. I can't recall the exact body count they announced, the official body count, but the actual body count was over 300 black people in unmarked graves.
And I want you to please continue to tell us what you want the world to know about your son.
So those people, like, he always wanted everyone to be included. He didn't want anyone to feel left out. I remember one of his teachers emailing us. I can't remember what grade he was in, but basically it was math class. They had a special needs student, and she asked a question, and Nolan got everyone to put their hands down because he wanted that student to answer. And so student answers the question, and she was like, Christine, the classroom, Nolan went crazy, and everyone else started going crazy, just celebrating that child. Making them feel included. And that was the person he was. Like, he loved everyone. And I always told Nolan, like, you have to be careful when you have such a big heart like that. I love that God blessed you with that, but you have to be careful with that because, that it's not always returned, that type of love. But he was just genuinely a good person. Like, I always say, all the best parts of me are with him.
And Dad, anything else you want to add?
It's just, he's going to be really missed. I know a lot of his teammates, they all looked at him as a leader. He's more like a silent leader. Not real big on words, more action, which is kind of like I was. I really wasn't real big on talking. I really wanted to show you and you follow me, and people follow him. And it's gravitated. He put in the work, he worked hard, and he knew he was focused on what he wanted. And he wanted to make life better for, his family. He wanted to have his own family. He used to say, Dad, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to build this. I said,
Tammy Pierce said Do we know how he died? To my knowledge, the autopsy results have not been released yet, but an autopsy has been done. So we're just waiting for that to come out, just to answer your question.
So you got to take it one step at a time. Slow down. Let's go. Let's walk this thing out. Let's train. Let's sign our deals. Let's make these teams, make these camps, put the work in, and everything else will work out. Even his baby brother, their bond got even stronger because now I have a big brother that he's finna do something. So now I want to outdo that. So his focus and his confidence has got even better. So I was looking forward to both of them having outstanding years.
Seasons,
He seemed like he inspired in the home and he inspired
absolutely
outside of the home. And Attorney Crump, where do we go from here? What's next?
Well, the deleted messages that Christina was going to briefly touch on, we want to get the phone and figure that out.
Backtrack on that. When we finally got his phone, me and my sister went through the phone. We went in his Snapchat. He had 2 accounts, absolutely nothing. It wasn't even 24 hours, which is how long videos and pictures stay in Snapchat. And I was just like, that can't be. Like, I've seen Nolan whenever he snaps, like when he goes and he's having fun, like he does videos. Like, there was absolutely nothing, no saved videos. And even my sister was like, yeah, that's just.
That is weird. Very weird. Snapchat, I think they leave your things up for 24 hours and it drops off. It goes to the cloud. But not only did those messages get deleted, and a couple of the social media pages of those boys went down. They were not deleted, but they were put on private. However, the judge shut down her entire social media. You let that sink in. One of the parents, I know the judge for sure. It was also said that the other parents' social medias went down as well, but for sure they said that the social media of the judge, who is the stepmother of one of those boys, was completely shut down. She shut it down, deleted it. Once you delete your social media, you don't get it back. You got to start all over again. That's a pretty drastic move.
Suspicious,
Michael, we having an independent autopsy done at the behest of his family. Colin Kaepernick helped pay for the independent autopsy. We flew his body up from Mississippi to D.C. because they wanted an autopsy done by a person with no interaction with the Mississippi law enforcement, because there's an issue of trust here that is really important. And the fact that they keep trying to say, suggesting it was a drowning, but nobody out there reported him drowning, it's not adding up, Michael Strahan. It is not adding up.
And honestly, we are doing this because.
Well, we really appreciate all of you being here. We hope you get the answers that you deserve to have, and we hope you get the closure that you need. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Mike.
Parents. I implore you, parents. Let me turn off this camera. Turn it back on for a minute. Parents, Black parents that have Black children, no matter how old they are, because even when they grown, you still got to be mama and daddy to them. Tell your kids, I hate to say it, but don't be the only one in the group. It rarely turns out well. And it's sad that we are at a point in this society now where we have fallen back so far that you can't trust your kids to be around their white friends. Your Black children, it's not a good decision to allow your children to hang out exclusively with their white friends. It's sad. But I would always err on the side of caution. I would always err on the side of caution. I would rather have my son come back home to me every night than worry about, whether or not he may come home because his friends may flip on him. Because like I said before, jealousy is a dangerous, dangerous thing. I've seen it so many times. I've been around for a while and I've seen it. You can be cool with them one time, for a minute, but let something happen. And you the only one in the bunch that ain't like them. And let something go down where you're involved, they back up and watch. I've seen it. It's happened to me. Now, not to this extent, but I know the mentality. When they say birds of a feather flock together, it's more prevalent now than 10 years ago. This young man had a bright future ahead of him. Not based on how much money mama and daddy had, but on his own merit. He was a rising star on his own merit. Oh my God, this makes me sick. Let me go ahead with this press conference. Now, I may not get to this Storm Monroe video. There might be an issue with that, but okay, I'm going to go ahead and play this. Barbara said, I just told my nephew that this morning, and I'm teaching my great-grandsons. My 4th of July baby said, but Gigi, I'm white. I told him this goes for you too, because you are black too. Amen. And see, in Mississippi, they still go by that one-drop rule. For those of you who don't know what the one-drop rule is, it has always been said that as long as you have one drop of black blood in your veins, you're black. You're considered black. And this took place in Mississippi. That's where a lot of that mindset is. Now, I ride or die black regardless. And that's not because I want to, it's because it's a fact. That's who raised me. And that's who I identify with, because that's the only culture I know and was raised with. And trust and believe, I went through some shit from both sides. So it ain't easy to be mixed. Okay? But I can truly say African Americans have always been the most nurturing, most forgiving, most loving race of people on the face of this earth. It's prevalent just from what black folks have gone through in this country. I'm not talking about other countries. I'm talking about America. There's people out there that are also considered black that hate black Americans to the hilt. Why? Because this country cannot deport black Americans. And they don't, well, why can't they? If they can deport us, why can't they be deported where? This is home. If you came here from your country, then this is not home. That's home. But now there's some people up in arms because black Americans, the operative word being American, black Americans cannot be deported. because America is home. And all we got to do is look outside at some of the accomplishments, buildings, inventions, street lights, what you name it, that are here because of Black Americans. I agree, Jerry. But, you know, Mr. Trump is trying to make it to where certain people are going to be forced to be deported. That's why I brought that subject up. But again, this particular subject matter here is what we're talking about. I kind of digressed, so please forgive me. Okay, I'm going to get this back going.
Hearing what was pieced together, it is clear that this situation must have the most thorough and objective investigation to lead to justice. What we've been told does not make sense. And being that there is lack of confidence of some of the worst, what these parents are being told and what the parents have now shared with us does not make sense.
Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear. If this is loud enough for you. Let me know if you can hear this okay. I'll try to turn this up as best I can. Okay, thank you, Jerry. Thank you. Hi, Down South Stitcher. Thank you. Okay.
How do you end up a young, promising football player, not in trouble, mother and daddy at home, everything we tell them to do and be? They go on the 4th of July, on the anniversary of this country, going to an island, we're outing with his friends, and the friends come back, and he's left there with some story about, he said, leave them behind. But then by some magic, one of the friends has his keys and his phone. Mind you, his mother tracked down the phone. They didn't voluntarily tell her they had his phone. They didn't voluntarily say they had the keys. So if they had not been tracked down, we don't know if they ever would have known where it was. Some of this doesn't make sense. So we are absolutely in National Action Network and other groups going to rally behind this family. I have told them that whatever we can and need to do, we will do it because this smacks of some of the worst fears that we've had historically.
Now you heard what he said. They had his keys and his cell phone. And had the mother not traced the phone down, tracked that phone down, they probably would have never turned it over to her. Why do you have his things and you haven't even brought them to her, let alone told her that he didn't come back with you? See, it stinks. It smells bad. It smells bad. It reeks of guilt.
Not only in Mississippi, but in this country. And we are there until the end with them. I've been asked by the family to be in Mississippi for the funeral to officiate, which I'm going to do. We just got off the phone with Tyler Perry, the actor who says he wants to help cover whatever expenses for the funeral. We have with us Spike Lee is in the house. Many of our people that have always supported families are there. This is not about them trying to raise money. We're going to take care of that. This is about, though, they got to keep going forward. But we want justice and let the chips fall where they may. If it ends up being one way that we suspect was wrong, fine. But if it's another way, don't back up and play games with this.
Amen.
They are not activists or lawyers. So they only want justice for their son. I'm an activist. When we get there and they say we heating things up, that's what we do. Because sometimes you got to make people sweat to get the poison out their system.
That's right.
I'm the sweat man. And they are the parents that want to see justice for their son. Let me let you hear from Christine and Elmer Wansley and then Attorney Crump. Let's do it. Okay, Attorney Crump, and then we hear from him.
Thank you, Reverend Al, for always answering the bell as you have done on so many occasions when families get the worst news of their life. And make no mistake about it, Christine and Elmo got the worst news of their life on what was supposed to be a joyous occasion where everybody was celebrating the 4th of July weekend. I'm Attorney Ben Crump, along with Attorney Lisa Park and Jared Presson and Camila Moore. We have the honor and the privilege of having to lead an independent investigation on behalf of the family of Nolan Wells. Why do you say we need to be retained to lead an independent investigation? It is because the family has distrust of the Mississippi law enforcement officials giving them a fair investigation where their Black son.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one, family man. No shade, but I agree. I do agree. I've thought that myself, but that still doesn't negate the fact that this family is grieving and they need all the backup they can get.
Ended up dead after going out on a boat with 3 young white men.
Hi, D. Royal.
The history of Mississippi is something that they don't just read about in books, but it's a lived experience for many Black Americans that oftentimes when our children are killed in highly questionable situations, that there is this notion that, oh, it was nothing wrong, no foul play, let's just sweep it under the rug. Well, we refuse to sweep it under the rug. We refuse to just let Nolan Wells' death be in vain. We're going to make sure that we get to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Amen. Because Nolan deserves it. You're going to hear his mother and father talk about what a wonderful young man he was. I mean, doing everything right. Reverend Al, he was not only a college student, he was a great athlete. He was a model big brother for his brothers and little brothers and sisters. And he was a great son who was on the cusp of becoming a man. I mean, Christine and Elmore did everything to prepare him for this moment. He was so close. He was right there. You're going to hear his father talk about him had a good football season last year, but this season he was really ready to go to the next level, to go to Division I. I mean, the highlights that you're seeing on social media of his athletic prowess, I mean, it is all relevant, because when you start talking about drowning, I mean, this is a kid who knew how to swim. This is a kid who was in tip-top shape. He was a superior athlete. And so I'm going to get to that in a moment, these glaring contradictions, but to try to say, oh, we're suggesting it was just an accidental drowning, go ahead and move on. Well, they are not accepting it.
No.
They are not accepting it. They want to know that you have not taken the path of least resistance, that you have done a full, complete, thorough, impartial investigation.
Exactly. I agree. See, what happens in these cases many times, the authorities come out without even so much as starting an investigation. They come out with finalization of what they think happened without even investigating. And we've all heard about lynchings taking place down south. There was one that took place earlier, if I'm not mistaken, earlier this week. A young lady was found hanging from a tree. And before any investigation was even started, they ruled it as a self-unaliving. They do that every doggone time one of these young black young men or women are found hanging. And let's be real, black folk, we don't hang ourselves. Are you serious? That is the biggest slap in the face to the black race that has been put on black people for decades. So really? I don't know what you mean by stop making up bullshit racism. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but there are no such thing as bullshit racism. You're actually displaying it if you're saying what I think you're saying.
Because it cannot be lost on anybody, but especially us in the black community. If the roles were reversed and you had 3 young black men on a boat with a young white man, and that young white man ended up dead, what kind of investigation would be being conducted by the Mississippi law enforcement officials? How many times would those 3 young black men be interrogated? So all we're asking is the same consideration you would have given if the roles were reversed. Give that consideration to this family as well. That is our fight. The glaring contradictions just jump out at you. The fact that he is there with his friends, and you look at all the videos, it seems to be he's the only black on the island, or maybe one other, but not many. And so, Jared, you have where a young woman he was talking to says that, well, Nolan said he was going back to get on the boat with the boys. Mm-hmm. The boys say that Nolan told them he was going to stay and talk to the young woman. It's a contradiction. They're not saying the same thing. One of them is telling the truth, one of them is not. We have to get to the bottom of that. It's important. And then the fact, Reverend Al, that they have this video of an argument that is going on. And you know, thank God, all young people, they have cell phones, and anytime you hear people raising their voice, they start the video. And so you hear on the video, Nolan saying, "Give me my freaking phone. What are you freaking doing?" And that becomes even more relevant when you think about the story that they are presenting, that Nolan chose to stay behind. That's what they're saying. Mm. But his phone, he wouldn't take that with him if he's going to stay behind on an island.
That is our lifeline. Imagine a teenager leaving their phone behind. That just don't happen. I'm sorry. And I really find it hard to believe that this young man would stay behind. It's like you going somewhere and you're riding with someone else and you have no other way home but that person that you rode in with. Why would you stay behind? You have no ride home. This don't make sense. Ain't no houses around, none of that, no place for shelter, nothing. It's a flat land surrounded by water. Why would he stay behind? It doesn't even make common sense.
I mean, we're talking about an 18-year-old kid. What teenager would leave their phone behind if they're going to stay on this island? What teenager wouldn't take their phone?
Exactly.
And so it's not adding up. It's not adding up at all. The fact, as Reverend Al said, they didn't take his phone with them. His mother, when she finds out that her baby is missing, they start trying to track the phone. The GPS the phone, they've used Life 360, and they discover that, well, the phone is on land. The phone is on land, but you're saying he went missing on the island. And so it's not adding up. And so they go get the phone. And you hear her tell herself, when her and her sister start going through his phone, Jared, they realize that there are deleted messages. So they're trying to figure out, well, why are there deleted messages on his phone? I mean, it becomes relevant when you start putting everything together where we can't just say, oh, there's no instance of foul play.
You guys, I'm gonna be real with you. When these racist comments pop up in the comments, just ignore them. I'm deleting them when they pop in. And if you hear me go off a couple of times, please charge it to my head, not my heart. Because I'm not in the mood for none of this bullshit right now. Not from these trolls. But isn't it strange that young man's phone and keys wound up at one of the friends' house? They didn't bring it to the parents. None of that. The mama had to track that stuff down, and that's where she was able to trace it down to. Man, it smells bad.
We're going to get to the truth one way or the other. The fact that, and this really makes no sense to me, Reverend Al. This notion that where he drowned, y'all have, I'm sure, seen all the videos out there. I mean, if he's drowning, nobody sees him drown, nobody offers assistance, nobody tries to help him. I mean, obviously, he stands out. I think, the only black person I saw when I'm looking at the videos. And if you see him drowning, you mean nobody is going to try to help him? It's not adding up. It is not adding up. And that's why the family, at their behest, we had an independent autopsy being performed. And we thank Colin Kaepernick for helping to pay for that independent autopsy. And we thank Tyler Perry for helping to pay for the funeral. Because as Reverend Al said, these were just regular parents going about their life. They weren't expecting any of this. And then we're having to try to hire all these experts to be able to go and see if they can retrieve deleted messages. We have to have experts. You'll hear from Attorney Park talk about, where the body was found when it was recovered and how long it took to be recovered. We think all of those are relevant issues to trying to understand what really happened to Nolan Wells. And this independent autopsy is so very important because we had his body flown from Mississippi to Washington, D.C., because his family wanted to make sure that they had a doctor who had no ties to Mississippi law enforcement to do an independent examination of their son's body. And we are hopeful to get that result in the very near future. We were hoping we would have had it today. However, as you all know, here in New York, they canceled all the flights yesterday, and so it took a long time for his body to get to the medical examiner's office in Washington, D.C. But rest assured, as soon as we get those results, we will make them known to you, because we believe transparency is very important. We want to lead by example. We want them to be transparent, and we want to be transparent.
Clarissa, according to reports, they said that his body washed ashore. That's what Ben Crump said, that his body literally washed ashore. So, in my mind, that means that he had to have been in the water for some time in order for it to end up washing ashore. In other words, he did not die on that island. You see what I'm saying? So based on what has been brought forth so far, because initially they said that his body was found on the island. However, it got on the island because it was washed ashore, according to Ben Crump. DJ says, need all the evidence before you come to a conclusion. Yeah, that may be true, but you know what? Sometimes plain and common sense tells you that conclusion before they come to it officially. We're talking about Mississippi. And unfortunately, because of the movements of those 3 remaining friends and the parents, very, very valuable evidence is gone, because nothing was done. They just went on about their business. And as a matter of fact, they hung out and partied at, if I'm not mistaken, they was playing in the water at 7:30. He came up missing around 3 o'clock. Yes, BB. They lawyered up. They lawyered up before a body was even found. So sometimes it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure, when you see somebody's moves, what moves they're making, and we're talking about people of prominent money. They've got money. They've got a means to cover things up. One of them is a judge. And they can take on the attitude, well, if the evidence doesn't show it, there's nothing you can say. Well, you know what? That may be true, but that doesn't necessarily mean we don't see it. Yes, they can get that information from the cloud. Yes, the deleted text messages. They can get those. There's just other things that had they acted sooner, if they had notified the parents, for instance, right away, not way after they've gotten done partying with, just between the 3 of them and whoever else is out there hanging out. The boy turned up missing and they did nothing. They went on about their business as though nothing happened. Then went so far as to take his phone and his keys home. Okay, Clarissa. Water would swell his body up. This is weird. A young man body washed up in the water. Actually, you know what, Clarissa? And I'm only going to say this from experience. My son drowned as well 8 years ago, just a couple days ago, was the anniversary date. And he remained in that water over 24 hours underwater when they retrieved his body was not swollen with water. And that's something that I was expecting to, to have happened to him because it was submerged for so long. But apparently, the body doesn't necessarily swell up that quickly. And that I'm only speaking from what I know, from what I witnessed with my own son. They can get all their information from their phones through the cloud. Absolutely, DJ.
We know they conducted the autopsy. We are waiting on their results as well. The final thing I will say is this. If there are any people on that island, any young people who recorded videos, who witnessed things, who may have saw Nolan at any time on the island, please, please, please let us know. Please call BenCrump.com, call the 800 number, just any information. They are desperate. We're in a ferocious pursuit for the truth. And y'all, if it was your child, wouldn't you want everybody who knew something to let you all know?
Absolutely.
This is a horrible way because it's so tragic on so many levels. Brett, before we bring the parents up, why don't we have Attorney Lisa Park, who is helping to head up the investigation with our office.
My name is Lisa Park. I'm the senior attorney for the Ben Crump Law Office in Atlanta. It is our honor to work with the family to try to find answers in this case. I think that most of you at this point are aware of Ben Crump Law and many of the cases that we represent in this country. Some of these cases you don't know anything about.
Clarissa said this case should speak for itself. Someone seen what happened. Was a female involved? Yes, actually, there was a female involved. We'll hear more about that later. Did they say he separated from his phone? How could we help make sure this stays in the news? As it stands right now, independent media is what's going to keep this out there in the news because it took several days for it to hit mainstream media. I'm saying maybe 5 days, if I'm not mistaken, 4 or 5 days. I agree, Richard. I agree. Nothing was said. ABC, CBS, CNN, nobody was talking about it. But independent media, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, it's viral. And that's how people were able to find out about it. And then of course, that's when mainstream media had to jump up and say, "Whoa, what happened? Let's find out." And they started reporting it too. So now it's in mainstream media. But look how long it took for them to they didn't say a word. It wasn't important enough. Wasn't important enough for them. I'm starting to believe that a lot of these mainstream media companies that are being bought by whose friends are in place simply to keep stories like this out. Oh, okay, Cece.
Until we get involved and we shed some light and we explain to the media what has happened and you all let America know what has happened. Mm-hmm. Sometimes cases come and you all already know about it. This is one of those cases. I saw this in the news before I got a call from Ben. This was already huge in social media, already out in general media. Why? Why? Because it doesn't take an attorney. It doesn't take a special investigator. It doesn't take someone with extreme training to know right off there's something wrong here. This is, as Ben has put it, not adding up. It is so obvious. There are so many people in this country that go missing, right? Everybody knows this. But this case has captured everybody's attention. Think about why. You know that something is not right. It doesn't take us. It doesn't take the Reverend Al Sharpton, Ben Crump, to tell you and then think, oh, now I know something's wrong. We know something is wrong. And for every single person that was in Horn Island, and we know there's about 200 people, there's a lot of people. We know that Horn Island is a popular place during the holidays. It's a popular place on the weekends. You have to get there by boat. It's the only way to get there. You have to leave by boat. It's the only way to leave. So many people out there. If you are watching this, if you see this, and you are struggling about what to say or what to do, you know what the right thing to do is. Call Ben Crump Law. There's this thing called the internet. It's very easy to find that number. Call us. We have an entire call center. They're waiting to hear from you. If you didn't go to Horn Island, but you've heard something, because people are talking. They're talking with each other. They may not be calling the police. They may not be calling us. But you heard something. We need to know that. We need to know that. In America today, so many of us, we want to believe that the last several decades, we've made so much progress in our race relations, don't we? We want to believe that, whether you're Black or you're white or you're Asian, that's what we want to believe. We wanted to believe that this past 4th of July when we celebrated 250 years, right? If you want to believe that, you've got to be part of the solution. You've got to be part of that. You have to make it happen. And if you have information, please call us. It is incredibly important. People out there, you have answers. You may not know exactly what your information means, but if you saw something, say something, please.
Sorry about that. I was muted. I agree with everything she just said, and let's take it one step further. Take it to the correct source. Like I said, this is Mississippi, and there's reason not to trust law enforcement in Mississippi for obvious reasons. A historical past of unaliving Black people. But not only that, we have to look at the affluence of the parents. One of them is a judge. They have the capability of making things go away. So if you do have information out there, take it to someone that's going to do something with it. Do the right thing with it. Not sweep it under the rug.
All right, we're going to hear from the parents, and then we'll have Q&A. And what I want is, when we go to the media, identify yourself and your outlet so we know who is speaking. And let me say again that we're standing with this family till the very end and make sure we deal with justice. Let's first hear from the mother, Christine Wansley.
First of all, I want to say thank you, everyone, for being here. This is not how I wanted the world to meet my son, but here we are. So, as you know, I'm Christine Wells Wansley. I am Nolan Wells's mom. And Nolan is the kindest soul.
Yes, Clarissa, they've been talking to the girl. And they weren't all there together, and they didn't go there together. I guess he met this girl. But she's the only one that her story has not changed. The boys' stories have changed. But she's been cooperating with authorities. Just to answer your question. And as for these racists that keep popping up in here, I'm going to deal with you the way I said I would deal with you. But if I pop off and cuss you out first, don't be surprised. Michelle said, and the medical director in Jackson, Mississippi has mishandled and or falsely reported COD for blacks and especially males. Yes. That is so true. There's a track record here in Mississippi. And you have to govern yourself accordingly. But, you know, the point that's being made here is that racism is alive and well in this country. And as a matter of fact, they keep showing up in the chat. So that just proves my point.
Never met a stranger. He loved everybody. He didn't care if you were black, white, purple, green, looked like a marshmallow. Like, he just wanted everyone to be in peace with one another. He loved life, and God gave him this big heart, which always scared us. Me and his dad had conversations with him all the time, not just about the importance of understanding our history as Black people, but also the importance of how
Clarissa, he was the only
have to
Black
move in certain spaces. And it's not
out of the 4 kids.
Us being, feeding into racism or the stereotypes that comes with that. Unfortunately, that is just a matter of fact. There have been many cases, many instances that shows it's unfortunately a pattern that he did not like. He did not like that there was so much division, and I think that's why God gave him us. He was really a peacemaker. He wanted, like I said, everyone to be included. He never wanted to leave anyone out. He just, even at a young age, I don't know, he was, how old was he? No, not 18. So his father and I were having a moment, and as couples do, and even in that moment, he runs in the room with his diaper on, of course, and he starts dancing because it was like he could feel the tension. He could feel that something wasn't right. So he was just a special kid. Like, he was a special kid, but again, just heart was so big. And we're gonna miss him dearly. But we are grateful, especially to our friend Tashima, who actually was one of the people who helped us that night. She went and picked up his cell phone from where it was, and then provided that to us because we of course contacted authorities to figure out who to do the report with, whether it was the county or the city, which then turned into DMR, who I contacted immediately from there. And, but so our friend actually, when I called her, Nolan is best friends with her two sons, Jalen and Javon. When I called her, I said to Shima, have you seen Nolan? He's missing. No one has seen him. No one has talked to him. The boys were actually with her sons. So they opened up their Snapchat because a lot of the kids do have their locations where they're tracking one another. So one of the boys says, well, it's showing that I can't exactly remember what his location was showing, but my Life 360 location was showing something completely different. It was actually showing that his phone was like he was on land. And so we ended up, she received the phone from that parent, and then we met up where his car was, which was at a separate location. There were issues obtaining the key, but even so, there's just a lot of.
Tell them about what happened with the key.
So I'm gonna let my husband tell you about that, because he actually went up to the door to get the key, because at that point I was just not in my right mind.
I know that's
This
right.
has just been an awful situation, just terrible.
Elmore Watson, father.
Okay,
Yes,
so the
Clarissa.
situation with the key.
She did
When
have
we
track.
got to the house, a few of his friends, they were already there, and they were at the door in the house, asking questions. So when I walked up, they were getting, things were getting kind of intense. So I turned to them and told them, I need you guys to calm down. I don't do this to me right now. I need them to kind of trust me so they can give me something. So I was able to calm them down. So the guy, he's in one of the pictures. He came out of the room, half asleep or whatever, I think Jack's or whatever. And I said, look, I'm Nolan's father. I'm here to get his keys so I can get his car. I said, he's like, his car's parked in the yard. So he was like, I don't know, man. I know it's like my brother. I said, well, if Nolan was like your brother, would you please go on your own and see if you can find my son's keys so I can take his car home? He walks off, 2 or 3 minutes, come back. I can't find the keys.
Hey, honey, how are you, sweetie? Now, do you guys hear this? This father goes to get his son's keys to the car that's parked in the front yard. See, this thing stinks. The more I hear about it. There's 2 different tracking devices. One is on her phone, on whatever app she has, and then another, a different phone. And both tracking services indicate different areas. Her tracking said he was on land, where the other one didn't. So they went to where her tracking placed him at, which is where they were able to get his phone and his keys. So these guys went home. They partied and went home with this guy's phone and keys. Now, you think about it. You go kicking it with your friend, 4th of July. 4th of July, you kicking it with your friend, and then all of a sudden he's nowhere around. So you just say, oh, okay, well, no biggie. And you guys keep kicking it. But you have his phone and his keys. You don't go tell his parents he's missing. You still stay and party and all this stuff. Look, the math ain't mathing. And when they go home, when one young man goes home, he has his phone and keys to the car that's parked in his front yard. The father and mother had to go to this young man's house. He didn't have the courtesy to bring it to them or notify them that he's missing and I have his shit. They had to figure it out on their own. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. This is some bullshit. And then when the father goes up to the front door and talks to one of the young men, he act like he don't want to turn the doggone keys over. Y'all just ignore the racists that come in here talking about Al Sharpton. We ain't talking about Al Sharpton. We're talking about a young man who was unalived. But you guys are proving a big point here. Thank you.
I said, okay, so at that point, I get the boys and I get to move them out the house because I didn't want them to go into the house and start tearing up
Richard,
these
I
people's
banned
house
him.
because they'll never be a hold in the situation. So walk outside by the car. One of the guys that was in the house with us, he was on the phone with a girl, and the girl told him that Nolan's keys were on top of this Jack's guy's Xbox in the house because apparently she was there with him earlier. So he goes back up to the door by himself, and 5 minutes later, the keys come out. So now I feel like you lied to me. So now I'm really like in distrust with you. But as far as the night goes, if I knew anyone who had a boat, I would have went out that night looking for my son. We tried, but I don't have friends with boats. But if I knew someone with one, I would have went out that night. And this so happened that his coach saw all the stuff on Facebook that next morning and contacted me like 5 a.m, asked me if we want to go out.
Clarissa says the white boys were supposed to be locked up until the case is solved. The boys are suspects. Why are they not locked up? Because one of them's stepmother is a judge. Another one's father is a lawyer. The other one's father is a doctor. We're talking people with money. You've got the perfect ingredients for a cover-up. I like that Sunday school teacher. We're calling for a national day of fasting and prayer against prejudice and racism. We need to demand that the boys be locked up. Exactly. But you know what? I find it unfortunate that we're living in a time that arrogance, for one thing, arrogance and the ability to cover up, it can be right there in your face. I mean, our president has shown that. He's so arrogant and he don't care now that we all know he's a crook. Okay? And the fact that we all know that, he continues to do what he does and doesn't give a damn that we know, because he's allowed to get away with it. Here we have it. This is as a result of that behavior in the White House, it has spilled over into Americans. Quiet thoughts spoken loud. They have proof. You can't lock them without proof. No, I don't think you can lock them up without proof, but you can be held under suspicion for 72 hours for at least interrogation. They can't be locked up, but they can be detained.
And I told him, yeah, so within an hour, he was at the dock. We met him and we went out. We docked the boat, got off the boat, walked on the island, walked a pretty nice stretch, came back, got back on the boat, went around the island, looked, came back around, and where we went to, that's where apparently they say that his body floated up. I don't know a lot about water currents or whatever, but I would think that we would have saw his body. And on the trip there was a family that stayed a night on the island. like actually tented out on the island. So if he was left, he would have saw that family on the island, and it was 2 other boats docked. So he would have had help. So I don't know. I don't know. I think we stayed there for like an hour and a half. That's when Jackson County and the sheriff department showed up, and they were going to do their rounds. And I had a classmate of mine, him and his 2 boys. They came out and they searched, and then they got back in touch with me and said the Coast Guard had finally showed up in airplane. So
what is so critical, what Elmore is saying is they went out on Sunday, and the tide, if it brought his body up, he went missing on July 4th, as they say. His body should have been there on July 5th. Why would it not appear to July 6th? And that's one of those things that's just not adding up. And the fact that if he stayed behind on the island, there were boats there. There were people. Somebody had to see something. That's why it's not adding up. And that's what they're saying. It's just not adding up.
Yes. And if he was there 2 days, somebody on the island would be able to verify that. 2 days and nobody's come forward and say, no, he was with us, or no, we saw him. It just does not make sense. Make it make sense.
Just one last thing. We want her to talk about the cell phone deleted messages.
You're talking off mic.
I'm sorry. I thought my voice was loud enough. One last thing. We want to have Christine talk about the cell phone from her perspective before they tell you who Nolan was, and then we'll take your questions.
So when we made it home, my sister and I actually went through Nolan's cell phone, particularly Snapchat, because that is so popular with the children. And when we opened it up, there was nothing. There were no saved pictures. There were no snaps from that day. And we did open it before the 24-hour expiration. So we found that very concerning.
Thank you for,
because
your gift the other day.
Anyone who's ever been around Nolan will tell you at social gatherings, he's taking videos, he's taking pictures, he's even come up to me when I'm getting ready to go to bed. Hey, Mom, come on, take a picture of me. You know, like that was Nolan. So that's why we feel that things may have been deleted, was because the fact that there was nothing in either one of his accounts. But I do want to say this. I would hope that any parent who, God forbid, would be in our situation, I would hope that you would do the same thing. I would hope that you would ask for any help, receive any help to get answers, because at the end of the day, that's all we want. We just want to know. We just want to know what happened and why our baby didn't come home. Like that's our biggest thing. And we are so grateful to everyone, family, friends, classmates, United Cajun Navy, everybody that's assisted us. We appreciate you. There's not enough thank yous that we could say or give to you, but I just, we just want to know. We want an honest, thorough investigation. That's all we're asking for.
Do you want to say about who Nolan was?
Nolan is a person with a big heart. He's loved by not just his family, but the community. He's a born people person.
Thank you,
He
Just Hot Flash.
he
And I got
really
an email.
developed a bond with his baby brother because both of them play the same position. So he was really understanding the business side of the sport, of which is football. And
Yes, there is a GoFundMe. Actually, if you Google it, I'm sure you can find one. There is a GoFundMe for the family on there.
and understand that it's not just a game you playing. So the stuff that I was telling him, it was kind of starting to sink into him, and he was, really getting more in depth into it. And I could see as he did that, his baby brother really started getting more into it as well, as far as being more focused, because he saw, well, if my big brother is about to go do this great thing, then I want to do this great thing, but I want to do it better. That's why that's what made them so like vinegar and oil. It was like they was always at each other, but they were the same. When I look at my youngest, I'll say Nolan, or when I look at Nolan, I'll say my youngest name. So they would train together. I would always say, hey, you did some push-ups and you the one ran some routes. And they know when I say that, next day they're out there running routes. Even my other son, he'll go out there. He doesn't play their position, but he would go out there and work and exercise and work out, because they were understanding what I was talking about. They were growing, they were becoming men. So this was his time. He would always talk to me. I would always give him my advice about stuff. I always try to tell him what to look for. And as I always tell him, I said, son, I'm giving you this advice and I'm telling you this stuff, but you're going to have to experience this. But when you experience it, it won't be foreign to you. You'll have some kind of idea of how to navigate through it. And I think me and his mother, I think we did a great job with that. That's why it's so hard for me to believe that he would choose to stay on the island. It just wasn't his character. It wasn't his character. So Nolan is the funniest kid in our family. Speaking of the time she was talking about, we were having a kind of heated moment, and I don't know if you guys remember the dance called Stanky Leg. I think my son created it because we were sitting in that closet looking and just like talking. He literally came to the closet door and peeked around and stood in front of him and just started doing this little crazy dance. And I was like, we just bust out whatever we was arguing about, we stopped laughing. Then we called him to us and we just hugged and laughed and played. But then maybe 6 months later, the song didn't hit. But we always said he created the Stanky Leg dance. But that's my greatest memory of my son.
What are you telling your other children about this?
My son Ethan, he's hurting. These are the ones these are the younger ones. He's like, Dad, I don't know what I'm gonna do. He would want you to be better. His youngest brother Elmore, the one that really worked out with him, he was like, I'm hurting, Dad, but I said, Nolan wants you to be the best he can be. He would want you to outdo him. And whenever you feel like you're in a bind or having some kind of problem, call on your brother, talk to your brother. My twins, the loss of a younger sibling is hurting them. They have to figure out how to navigate through life without him. And my daughter Carly, with her being away, it's really hard for her because she's not around family now. So she's out on her own, doing life like this, but she's doing it on her own. So she has to do this by herself. We're here, by phone, but we're not there in person. So she really has to draw on the people that's around her when she's not home. So all together, my family, this is gonna be our new norm. He was the jester in my court, and yeah, he will be missed. Great, not by us, but by the whole community.
We will announce the funeral services when it is finalized, and we'll be going to help with the I will officiate at the funeral in Mississippi. Again, we'll take your questions, but identify who you are. And please be respectful to families in mourning. But because they want justice for their son, they came to New York to make this appeal. But let's not make this a circus. Yes.
Christina Mershack from the New York Post. First of all, I just want to say I'm so sorry about the loss of the family. I have a couple of questions. When was the last time you heard from Nolan? What did he say? Was there a call or a text? What was said during that last interaction? And also, how do you know that it's Nolan saying, like, give me my phone?
Teresa, what lies are you saying? What are you referring to, love? Teresa Smith says, stop telling lies. If they are guilty, hang them, but stop lying about it. Y'all don't know anything. Can you elaborate on that, please? Who's telling lies? The lies everyone are saying, like they left him? How do you know that that's a lie? I mean, I'm confused as to what you're saying in terms of what are lies. So unlikely friends would, yeah, that's right, all the best. It's very unlikely that they would leave a friend on an island like that. He was going to meet a girl. Maybe he wanted to stay. We don't know. That's my point. Okay, well, here's what we do know. He didn't stay with her. Number two, they had his phone and keys. Do you leave your phone and keys with people? Man, please. Don't pick and choose what the truth is going to be, okay? Toodles. That's such bullshit. Come on.
When doing in that video.
Say that last question.
How do you know that it's Nolan saying, give me my phone, what you're doing in that video?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you were. The second one is other children who are saying it was Nolan. Yeah.
So the last time we spoke and saw Nolan was July the 3rd. He actually cooked dinner for me, actually for us, because I had gotten off work. It's been really busy, and so he cooked dinner with salmon. He baked it. So proud. And then after that, he was just like, "Hey, Mom, I'm about to go. I love you." Gave us a hug, kiss, and he left. Which of course, he knew we always looked at the like 360. So there were times maybe he didn't call us to let us know when he made it, but we would see it. He would text at some point, but that was the last time we saw and spoke with him.
Sir.
Tim Grant from Washington Post. Two questions. First, who is doing the independent autopsy in Washington, D.C.? And second question is, as part of
Kieran Bradley says the demand for racism isn't meeting the supply. Y'all are so desperate for that boy to be a victim. Rest in peace to the young man. That is really sad. That's sad. That's pretty sad. That's pretty sad. We've got plenty of supply and demand of racism in this country. And clearly This is just one drop in the bucket. Nobody's desperate for him to be a victim. If it looked like a duck, walk like a duck, then fuck, it's a duck. And get out of here with that bullshit, okay? Toodles. I agree, Clarissa. Other strong black leaders should get on board. They should get on board as well.
Have you planned to reach out to the other voices with the ask them voluntarily speak to your investigation?
Dr. Roger Mitchell is doing the independent autopsy
Yeah,
on
that's what you're
behalf
talking
of
about. Yeah.
Nolan Wells' family. And we understand that the young men have lawyers, so we would have to have their lawyers agree to let them speak to our investigators, and we have not attempted to talk to them as of yet. We have been attempting to talk to many of the students and people who are out there that we are aware of.
All the best said something, and this is very true. Bro, nobody's talking about racism, but why is this case being so poorly handled right now? It does not feel thorough, which is curious. And that's where racism does come to play because of the location where this took place. This took place in Mississippi, which is historically been very racist. Things like this happen down south quite often. And it seems like things have backpedaled in terms of race relations in this country more so now than earlier because of politics. I'll just put it like that. But yes, racism plays a role in this because of the simple fact that 3 white boys came home and the black boy didn't. And the way that they treated this situation was actually very disrespectful to the parents of that young man. This is a young man that they were supposed to be friends with. So, I mean, you call it what you want. You call it whatever you want. And maybe I shouldn't even say it, but there was something was said with regard to one of the parents who are affiliated with the KKK. Now, I don't know that to be true or not. I'm not going to say that it's true or not true, but it has been that little piece of information has been dropped into the media as well. So if that is in fact true,
Okay. Right here.
Oh, okay. Justin Finch, Inside Edition, asking a question here. First, for the family, wondering if you recall from your friend what was said to her by the people who gave her Nolan's phone, and for Attorney Crump, wondering for you, at some point, will that phone be given to police for their investigation and express interest?
Yes.
Hi, Cora.
So the exact wording of the exchange, it was through phone because again, we were busy trying to figure out who was going to take the missing person's.
Okay, thank you for that
Just because
explanation.
when
All the
it's in
best,
water,
sweetheart.
When it occurs on the island, it's not necessarily the city or the county because then it becomes an issue of jurisdiction. So like I said, she went there and spoke with, I cannot remember, I'm so sorry, my brain is everywhere. But she went to the house and retrieved the phone. She said, I have his phone, the phone looks okay. As far as like appearance goes, it didn't look damaged or anything.
Clarissa, that information hasn't been divulged yet. They did in fact ship the body to a different state. They did not trust it to be sent to or stay in Mississippi. Colin Kaepernick paid for that to happen. I believe they had the body shipped to New York, if I'm not mistaken, for another autopsy because they're having their own autopsy done as well. So, Yes, Colin Kaepernick. As a matter of fact, I believe Tyler Perry is also involved with financing some of the things that need to take place.
And so then after that, we met with her at the other house where he had stayed the night, July the 3rd, where his car was. Because it was important for us to try to retrieve everything of his that we could. But it honestly, for both instances, it was a run and round because I know she had issues getting his phone as well. And she ended up calling me, and I think I spoke with the mother. She put me on speakerphone, and I was like, hey, yes, I'm Christine, I'm Nolan's mom. We need his phone. We're trying to find him.
Yes. I guess, okay, we'll go her and then you. I guess let me answer the second part of the question. Absolutely, after our experts be able to examine the phone, we will let the Mississippi investigators examine the phone. And it's fortuitous that they have the phone because normally in these investigations, as you know, Reverend, they would have the phone and stuff and they would keep it for months and the family just be in limbo. But thank God we have the phone now. We're going to do it expeditiously and give it to them to examine it as well.
Anna Schechter with CBS News. So you said that he stayed the night at a friend's. The first question is, did he stay with the friends that he went on the boat with?
Yes, he did.
And my second question is, has anyone come forward and provided you with other photographs or videos from Horn Island from July 4th that afternoon?
They're starting to send them to our office, and that's what Attorney Parker was being so adamant about. Please continue to send whatever videos you got, whatever pictures you got, and we're very thankful that some young people have done that.
Good afternoon. Darla Miles, ABC 7 New York. First of all, I would like to extend my condolences to you, Mr. and Mrs. Wells. I know this is very brave of you, and we appreciate your transparency. Two questions, also in regards to you, Reverend Mr. Crump. My first question is, this happened in Mississippi, and you've traveled here to meet with Reverend Sharpton. Why was this important to you, and how meaningful has this meeting been with you here in New York?
So we did this because, once again, what we're wanting is transparency, right? Although I do absolutely respect law enforcement, just the fact that the accidental drowning thing, it made both me and his father uncomfortable. Why are we so quick to rush to this? And we just, at the end of the day, we want answers. This has been very impactful. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the day they found him, we were at Port Mars, which is one of the boat launches. And I was standing beside the water and I had said a prayer and I was like, Lord, this isn't what we wanted. But I just asked him to help us get through this, put the right people in our path that could potentially help us. Because at that point, we hadn't reached out to anybody. We didn't know where to start. This is foreign. We've never been through this. No parent should go through this. And then that's when my cousin, Keezy, she sent me a message with some information. My friend, Bianca, her sister, knows a contact with Attorney Ben. And so I said, okay, this has to be it. This has to be God helping us along the way. And I am not religious, but I am spiritual. And for that, I was grateful because I felt like things were being set up. And at this point, I've always said, we are taking any help. We don't care, black, white, purple, again, we just want to know what happened. That's all we want to know. We just want to know what happened.
And my quick follow-up to that, were you able to get a clear explanation as to the chain of custody of this phone, like how that parent came in possession of this phone? And then explain the resistance you said you went to the home to get the keys. I don't understand, like, what kind of resistance, what was that exchange of words like, the resistance you received when you went to go retrieve his keys? Thank you.
He just acted like he didn't know where they were. He just like, he was like, he was clueless. Like, he was like, I don't know. I don't like, just please, I was like, just please go in the room and look for me. Cause be honest with you, at that time, I was very emotional. No one was giving me an answer. So that situation with me and them could have went totally left field. But since those other young kids were in there, at that moment, they kept me from doing what I wanted to do.
This is really enraging. I can just imagine how enraged he was. He's trying to get information about his son, and this kid is coming off like he doesn't want to help. And I mean, again, you gotta learn how to read the room. And he read the room. My son went somewhere with you, and you're not even trying to. You act like you don't give a damn. You act like you don't want to give me his phone. You don't want me to have his keys. I mean, what's the giddy up here? It's just, the way that they move made it very obvious. The way that they behaved, their behavior pushed this over the edge, pushed it over the top.
So getting them and calming them down, it helped me focus on what I was really there for, to find the keys. And like I said, when I asked him, he said he went and looked. And so he said he couldn't find them. I did what I needed. I left out of their home. And like I said,
exactly,
he come back out with the keys. And they didn't come back outside anymore until the police came. Because at that time, police were called because we were looking for his wallet. And then they went to the door. But other than that, when they sent the keys out, they locked everything. They didn't want nothing to do with what was outside that door. So that right there is, when you lied to me, it killed all trust in anything we had to say.
All right, we'll take the last four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go ahead.
Maria Campanodi with CNN. 2 questions for Attorney Crump, just to get some clarification on
That's
the
neither
timeline
here
of the
nor
events.
there, Trevor.
When was Nolan
That doesn't
last
have
seen
anything
and
to
by
do with the
whom?
fact
And the
that
second
young
question
man
is, who first
is gone.
reported Nolan missing and when?
Well, and I asked his mother to also assist on the second question. But it's conflicts. The young woman said that he went and got back on the boat with the boys.
Exactly.
The boys say no. He said he was going to stay with her. And that's a conflict. And the troubling thing is if they're saying, well, he made the decision to stay behind, would an 18-year-old college student say, go ahead without me, I don't want my cell phone or anything? It just doesn't add up. And so that, around that 3 o'clock time, seems to be the last time that we have those statements. However, as Christine said, they're suggesting that they didn't leave to 4:30 though. So, if you said you were leaving at 3, why you left at 4:30, and where was Nolan for that hour? And I think she was asking about the cell phone.
When was he last seen?
Oh, I asked the last scene. I thought you said something else.
When was he first?
Oh, missing. Okay.
So his friend contacted me, it was around 11:07. And then I called my friend.
Imagine someone in the chat focusing on something that has nothing to do with the unaliving of this young man. Get over it in terms of this man not being able to articulate words properly. What the hell difference does it make how he speaks? This young man is dead. And you're more focused on how this man is speaking than the topic at hand. Man, get your ass up out of here.
And to ask her had she seen him, because that would be the only other place I would think he would go if he were back on land. And so then when she told me no, she was like, don't worry, I'm going to look for him. And that's when we got on the phone. First I called, it was either the county or Ocean Springs. It was either one of them, but whichever I called first, I was directed to call DMR because DMR, if I'm not mistaken, they handle cases with the island or the water in that area. So the young lady took the information down. She's like, I'm going to give you a call back. I said, okay. So when she called me back, she explained to me, she's like, I've spoken with the Coast Guard, which his friend had contacted the Coast Guard. Warren had contacted the Coast Guard to report Nolan missing as well. So I'm on the phone with the DMR. He's calling Coast Guard. And she said, I spoke with Coast Guard and, you're going to have to complete the report with, I think it was Ocean Springs. So we go down to the Ocean Springs Police Department. We're told because it's a jurisdiction issue that they can't file the missing police report. Jackson County the Sheriff's Department ends up calling me back. I think if I remember this correctly. And she was calling to check to see were they able to do it. I told her no, they couldn't do it. The young lady on the phone and the officer at Ocean Springs Police Department spoke. He explained to her why Ocean Springs Police Department could not complete the missing persons report. She said, okay. He gives the phone back. She's like, look, I'm just going to go ahead and do it so there's no more back and forth. So my husband and I, we met an officer in the McDonald's parking lot. I think at this point it's maybe around 12. Don't quote me on that. But we explained to him, what he looked like, age, all those things.
They didn't even want to take a missing persons report? Wow. Law enforcement didn't even want to complete a missing persons report and only did it so they didn't. Oh my God. I don't blame them. I don't blame why they feel the way they do about Mississippi. That has nothing to do with this story. You can have your opinion, but it has nothing to do with this story. That does not diminish the life of that young man. Senseless. Man, I didn't realize. You know what? Yeah, I did. Racism is alive and well right here at YouTube. Wow. They are alive and well in YouTube, y'all.
Last time he was reported seen, which again, by his friend, he said that the last time he physically saw him was at 3 p.m. and they were getting ready to leave the island.
Israel Rodriguez with the U.S. Sun. Have you been able to gather additional information made by Warren's mother actually on social media, where she said the group left
deflection is
the
epic.
island after they experienced trouble with the boat and that the boat began taking in water?
Your question is what directly? We know she made that statement.
Have you been able to gather additional information on that?
No, we have not.
Thank you. Kevin Ortega-Rojas with Here's Why News. I was hoping that the family could clarify Nolan's relationship with the young men that he traveled to the island with. We've heard different accounts of how long he's known them. And I was wondering also if you folks have spoken to those families since they lawyered up.
High school friends.
Say the second part again.
Last question.
Thank you so much, Rev. I want to speak to the family. I stand here as a cousin, a first cousin of a victim. In 2020, he went out with his friend and the mother, who was white, and he went missing. He was found dead, deceased, in a field behind her house. She was arrested. She was charged with failing to report a missing child and contributing to the delinquent of a juvenile. So your story is very familiar. Your pain, I feel it too. And I will continue to advocate. I'm an activist and I go all across the world. But today I'm here because I stand with you. As a cousin of a victim, I know what you feel when you don't get justice and the system is up against you.
God bless you. Thank you. We will follow up and when we're ready to formal announcements. Again, the funeral service is not to prompt religion, it's to seek justice and unity. And we want everybody, black, white, everybody to come and extol what this young man represented. It's not a protest rally. It will be to really lift up the spirit of this young man and to stand with the family. If we have to do protest rallies, that'll be announced at another time. But the funeral services is to talk about how Nolan was a great young man to his family, and we're there to comfort them. Thank you for your time. Let us, please.
So I know I have been seeing some younger people, real adults, older people doing protests. We actually had a very small one in Ocean Springs. Some young boys that knew Nolan, actually some of his friends. So what Elmore and I would like to say is, if you do, please be peaceful. Nolan was not someone who liked fights, physical fights. He really didn't even like arguments. So don't go out there trying to be tough. Just think about what Nolan would want. And I'm telling you, he would not want that type of behavior. So let's just make sure that we keep it peaceful and respectful to one another's and others, and just stay away from negativity, but also to all of those who have sent beautiful messages. We have not gone through all of them, but I want you to know that we appreciate you, your love, your support, standing with us, and just keep us in your prayers.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Poor thing. My heart really is. I mean, my heart goes out to the parents. That is one of the worst things that a parent could ever experience. The loss of a child, regardless of the age. But then to lose it in such a manner that there's so many questions unanswered, and the behavior of those that know what happened is real shady. Very shady. So when you behave in such a manner, you draw conclusions based on the behavior of those that know what happened. But then we've got the apologists here that, want to give them a pass. Oh, well, you can't prove anything. Well, it's hard to prove when there's a judge involved already, who has incidentally shut down all of her social media, let alone the boys. Michelle says, we need to seek the Most High about how to move. He didn't advise men of the Bible to be quiet and meek in times of war. That's right. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Now, I'm going to attempt to play this next video. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but it is a very interesting video because it entails audio from a friend of Roland that knew Roland and the boys. However, I may not be able to get it to share because it's not a, well, maybe. Let me see if I can play this. Okay, this is Storm Monroe. He's a content creator on YouTube that I just happened to come across today who was also reporting on this situation. And a friend of Roland dropped this audio in his DMs today, I think it was. Either today or yesterday. So let me see if I can play this for you. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear this audio. Put a 1 in the chat. No sound? Oh my God. Okay, let me see if I can, hold on just a second. Let me see if I can pull it off of his YouTube page. Stand by for just a moment. Sorry about this. Let me make sure I can pull him up. Okay. Please bear with me. Okay, give me just a second. I found his YouTube page. I just want to make sure that you guys can hear this. Okay. Now let me share my screen. Okay.
Just wanted to come up here and say,
plan. Now, there was another young lady who she has her own page on Instagram. She reports as well. And she dropped this off. She said, Nolan Xavier Wells' friend exposes what allegedly happened.
Can you guys hear it now? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear it. Great, great. Okay, good, good. Woo! God is good.
During his last moment on Earth. So let's play this. She DM me. Shout out to by Janice Ayers on Instagram.
I just wanted to come up here and say that Nolan was my friend and that all these like stories going around.
Wow. And right as I was talking about the KKK, tell me why the numbers in the chat went to 666.
Oh, wow. Like even from like our point of view, because we're getting it different than what the public is seeing because we're at the behind the scenes. But they definitely did something to him and they're all trying to change the story. Everybody that was near that boat is trying to defend all their other friends, and every time you talk to a different person, the story is changing.
Wow. Can you tell that to the guy that just left off this panel? What was his name?
He's on. I don't remember.
Yeah, I bet he is.
So Alexis, Cindy is saying be careful. But is there anything that you can tell us in detail, like that you feel safe saying? I don't want you to say anything that you can't say or don't feel safe saying?
Like, what do you wanna know?
So what exactly happened from you guys' side?
From our side, there was an altercation with a different boat.
Kudos to this young lady. This took a lot of strength to come forward with this information. I got to give it to her.
Which had other kids on it, black kids, and there was an altercation. There was a fight, something happened, and they went back to their respective boats or whatever. And when his best friend was on the other boat, so when he went to go like check up on Nolan and everything after the fight, Nolan's boat was gone, but they had stayed for a couple more hours. And so when they got back to land, they had his phone. So Nolan didn't even have his phone. The phone was at one of the boys' houses, and they didn't want to give it to his parents, and they had to send somebody to go get the phone from his house. That's why, like, when we checked his location, everybody was like thinking that it wasn't serious because we saw his location and said he was in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, like at his house. But they wouldn't give his phone back to his parents, and they were seen eating out the next day.
Wow.
And when somebody asked them, like, hey, why aren't you out looking for your friend? They said, y'all already think we did it.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Some friends you have in this world, right?
Wow.
So think about it. Their friend went missing. Them white boys didn't miss a step, continued on with their life after they had deleted all the evidence. You know they huddled together and said, hey, you don't say shit. You don't say shit. I ain't gonna say nothing. We keep this all quiet. They're gonna take this secret to the grave. They're gonna take this secret to the grave. Believe that. And
I hope not.
Wow. No concern for him, no nothing. Just, oh, well, y'all already think we did it anyway. Basically telling you we did do it. Bitch, we ain't worried about getting caught, and it is what it is. I think that's interesting. That's very interesting, ain't it? Yeah, they came up with a pack. Sure did. They were sus. I could tell from the get-go. Yeah. Listen, you will really be up on the people who hate your fucking guts. You really will be.
That's true.
If you ain't careful, if you ain't got no discernment. But see, I blame. Oh, yeah. But I blame his parents for not teaching him and keeping him up on game. I looked into his high school, Ocean Springs High School, all that. That young man was used to being around the majority white people. When I looked at the graduating class from...
Hold on, y'all. I'm sorry. The AJ0323, you disrespectful piece of shit. Kick rocks, and I hope this never happens to you and your family. You need help. Sorry about that, y'all. No, not up
Ocean
in here.
Springs, it was mostly white. I didn't see no brown. I didn't see no chocolate up in there. So he has grown up around these people, around white culture, and he really thought shit was sweet. He really thought shit was sweet. Thank you. Same story as Tamala.
Mm-hmm.
Same. I need to do her story too. Let me know in the chat if y'all here for me digging into these different stories of these black people going missing. Horsford, that was her name. Yeah, she went to a sleepover.
Yep.
With her homegirls.
Sure
they
did.
all in mansion pajamas, got their wine. You think it's just an ice cream and wine, cheese and crackers, snacks,
Yep.
you know, have girl talk, all this, all that. She come up missing. She come up dead.
Yep.
Okay.
Nobody know nothing.
Listen, y'all got to do me a favor. Y'all got to watch it though. If I and I put it up, it's not funny, but when I put it up, y'all got to watch it. But what I think I'm gonna do, because I think like you guys look for the lives versus like videos, and then YouTube separated everything, so it's stupid now. But I think I'm just like, when I do that, I'm gonna premiere it or I'll do it live. Would you rather me premiere it or do it like a live video? Tell me that what you would rather do. See. They made sure to take the happy pic. Yes, they did. That's why I stay out of places where I'm not supposed to be. Please do, Storm. Okay. Live, premiere, live. Okay, looks like it's gonna be live. Either premiere or live. Okay, I got you. Live so we can talk in the chat. Okay, all right. Let me go back to this.
Did what?
Exactly. And then also that night, they were seen at multiple parties when they got back from the island around like 7:00. So they still continued to go out that night, knowing that Nolan wasn't with them and that nobody had seen him.
So what pisses me off the most is they did allegedly whatever they did, but on top of that, they didn't even care. You're partying.
Think about how evil that is. Your friend is missing. Y'all went to the island together, but you left without him. You ain't heard from him. His parents are panicking. They went on about their day. Went on to the next party. Act like this shit really didn't happen. Man, if y'all don't see that this was a ritual, this was definitely a fucking ritual. Like, do we really have to keep trying to guess? Come on now.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yes, I'm definitely sorry that you guys.
That said, kids do stupid stuff all the time.
That's not stupid. They just. Didn't care.
Somebody.
Okay, I want to respond to this. Look, that's why y'all like me being live, so I respond to the comments. Okay, Black parents always tell you that everyone is not your friend. Yes, they do. But biracial kids.
I'm so sorry, you guys. Something went on with my mute. My mute was on, so please forgive me. But what I was saying is that what really irritates me is that it would be one thing if it were an accident. Accidents do happen. I get it. It's just the behavior of these young men that gives me reason to think it wasn't an accident, simply because they were not being very cooperative from the jump. Your friend that you go over to an island with, your buddy from school, from elementary school. Come on. Elementary school. You've known this young man since you guys were little. You guys go over to an island and only 3 of you return, and you don't go to the parents of your friend and say, we don't know where he is. There might have been an accident. Nothing. They just went on with life as though nothing happened. And you know what? It doesn't surprise me when you've got a judge in the middle of it giving you advice on what the law will and will not uphold. It's how they behaved. And the more time that went by, the less evidence that could be extracted from this situation. That's the part that bothers me. Candy said, if the deceased looked like me and the friends looked like you, then there wouldn't even be a need for evidence, and we all know it. 3 young black men would be locked up. Disgusting. They did this to him. And you know what, Candy? I got to side with you. I've got to side with you. Plain and common sense. If there was an accident involved, I'm pretty sure that those boys would have broke their asses to get back to the mainland, to get to the parents or get to their own parents and say, something happened to our friend. We've got to help. We've got to go to his parents. Nothing was done. They went and kicked it. They went and partied some more. And when you've got people of monetary influence and legal influence, a judge and an attorney that can give you the ins and outs on what the law will and will not look at, this is a slam dunk for them. They can manipulate this thing to the hilt. Jesus Christ. This is sad. It's really sad.
Kids grow up a little different. Okay?
Yeah,
all these cultural teachings and sayings and all those things, that comes from black women. That comes from your black mothers and your grandmothers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you don't get wisdom from your father, even as a male child, because yes, you do, and yes, you're supposed to. But for the most part, culture is passed down from the mother. Can we agree to that?
Absolutely.
Shout out to Cynthia G. Yes, it reminds me of the Shanquilla case. And they was black that did that to her. However, she was around a bunch of motherfuckers that weren't her friends either. She had no business around them damn bums.
That's right.
That girl had 2 business. She had 2 shops, entrepreneur, like fly car. She stayed fly. She was young and attractive. She had no business around them damn bums. They weren't her damn friends
either. They were
either.
jealous of her.
Thank you. He didn't have a black mom to teach him. Thank you. You get that from your mother or your grandmother.
Yep.
Mothers, grandmothers, aunties, you get that from them. You don't, if you don't have a black mother, you are raised differently. And I'm gonna say this too. Yes, it does depend if you look white or black passing them. That's true too.
Yeah.
That's a good point too.
I'm a witness.
Listen, that's a good point too. Because what I've noticed is that the biracial kids that you can't tell are biracial, they do everything to let you know they biracial, baby. They will claim that other side even before they claim they black side. It's interesting the way things end up working out. But what I will say is
I was the opposite. I'll be the
you get your culture from your mother, right? Whatever race of mother you're raised by.
He's telling the truth. When you raised in a black household and mama's black and grandma's black, your aunties is black, you're taught differently. And no, I wasn't dark like my friends, but you know what? I was the blackest one on the block. They used to say, shoot, if you didn't know no better, you'd think Mickey was pitch black when she opened her mouth. Now looking at me, what is she? See, white people used to ask me all the time, what are you? I'm a fucking human. What do you mean, what am I? Black folks knew exactly what I was. I was biracial, raised by my black family. I can definitely understand everything that's being said here. And that's why I stand on business when I say black people are the most nurturing, loving, and forgiving race of people walking this earth. And that's what happened with this young man. His boys, he was around white kids all the time, and he trusted them. These young kids that he grew up with, that he figured they were all equal. Now, I'm just speaking my own opinion. This is only my opinion. But I think that they were dead jealous of him. Because he had it going on and had a bright future ahead of him without the influence of his parents' money. That part.
Okay, the female figure, because women are our first teachers, because usually it's a woman that's doing the child rearing. That's just what it is. So when you as a black man go outside of your race and you create children, you know, his father did it in the marriage and did it the right way, you know, and this ain't even about race, but it is about race. A lot of times as a black man, when you go outside your culture, you have biracial children and you try to keep them from everything that is black. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to talk about this old man. I'm not trying to, you know, I'm trying to be respectful, because at the end of the day, their child is gone. So this ain't about that, but we having a conversation.
I totally agree with what he's saying. He is speaking the truth. He's speaking the truth, because my grandparents tried to make me pass. See, they came up in a time where a common saying was white makes right. And here they got this little granddaughter that looks pure white, blue eyes, blonde hair. So, of course, my grandparents wanted what was best for me. Don't tell nobody you black. Don't you tell nobody about us. No, baby, That's where I became the rebellious child. And yes, I was a rebellious child. Now, I'm only speaking from my own experience. I don't know what this young man experienced. But I can tell you a lot of black people that have biracial children want them to feel like they're, you know what I'm saying, just keeping it a buck. Trying to keep them away from the black side. You can't hide your blackness. You're wearing it. Whether you act the role or not, you are still wearing your black suit. I didn't have a black suit, but my black suit was inside of me, so my rebellion made sure everybody knew. Let the record show. Because I'm not going to be ashamed of who I am because of the ignorance of another race. And I'm not going to do it. I'm not hiding in no bushes being scared of the other half of me. No. I'll fight you first. Let me proceed with this.
Okay. I can tell you, being a black man, a lot of times when we go outside of our race and we have families, we shy away from anything that reminds us of where we come from.
I don't know, Michelle.
So then we have kids and they don't know the little, they don't really know the Black American experience. Oh, you said his dad is African. Okay, but Was his dad raised in America or was his dad raised in Africa? That's a whole then that really.
That's a whole different dynamic.
I thought his mom is black. His mom looked Asian.
She is. She reminds me of
Ain't no
Jess.
excuse. Yeah, they can't pick up on the microaggressions. They don't. And I'm just telling you, as a black man, I've been around black men when they, a lot of times when they have kids outside their race, baby, they don't talk nothing black to them. They don't talk nothing black to them. They don't.
I commend you for that, Candy.
Just keeping it real. They shield them from that. They shy away from that. A lot of times when black men have all kinds of trauma around that, so they don't want no reminders of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but that hurts your kids. That hurts your biracial kids because, of course, they still got to go through this world, you know, and navigate dark skin. Being dark
Being
skin.
other lab is something stupid. Is you for real? What is y'all talking about in these comments today? Listen, what you just said was stupid. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
So, sorry, Alexis, quickly, you said there was the altercation that happened on the boat was with other black kids. There were other black people on the island.
There obviously, yes,
right.
But they rode on
Absolutely.
separate boats. There was supposed to be other black people on the boat with Nolan, but they got told last minute that they couldn't go because there wasn't like enough space. But the story that they keep trying to push out to everybody is that the boat was sinking and taking on water, and they were telling Nolan that he needed to get on the boat, but Nolan wanted to stay back with a girl that he never met, which he wouldn't have done, because if that was like we're all from the same surrounding areas, she goes to Moss Point, which is like 20 minutes away. Why could you not hang out on land when you got back?
If the boat that you came in was sinking and you knew.
Okay. So it was supposed to be other black kids on a boat, but they didn't let them get on because they didn't have space. No, they didn't let them other black kids get on because they had plans for Nolan, number one. Number two, let me answer your question. Kelly said, were you treated fairly at your all-white college? I'm going to be honest with you. I had some... I'm trying to think, how many racist experiences did I have? I had a couple on campus, but it was more like microaggressions. It was more of like ignorant shit. Now, the school I went to was 95% white when I went. Because I think out of 6,000 students or whatever, it was maybe 200 of us that were black on campus. In the actual city that it was in, it was 98% white. And I moved around in the city, worked in the city, all that. Wasn't shit there, you know, it was a little bumfuck town or whatever. It was a little bumfuck town, Kirksville, Missouri. Wasn't nothing there. About 2.5 hours north of Mizzou, if you've ever heard of Mizzou. And that's in Columbia, Missouri. And it's mostly white people there too. But anyway, but had jobs and shit in the city, worked at the radio station, at the country rock radio station, had no issues, had a couple microaggression experiences on campus. Remember, I told y'all that story about that white girl who she didn't try to like falsely accuse me of SA, but she flipped the situation and tried to say, trying to. And that wasn't true. She asked me to. So I had a couple things like that. But it's only by the grace of God that I was kept safe. It's only by the grace of God. Because I was wilding out. It's only by the grace of God that I was safe. And I made it back. And that's just a fact. And knowing what I know now, if I could go back, I wouldn't have went. I ain't gonna hold you. I wouldn't have went. I would have took my black ass to Hampton University. That's where I would have went. That's really where I really wanted to go. But to answer your question, for the most part, it was okay. Couple microaggressions, but I can't lie and say I had a horrible time. Like that ain't the truth.
That.
And so that was like the crazy thing is that they're talking about, oh, the boat was sinking. And he didn't want to get on the boat and the boat had to get towed back. But if that was the case and he said he wanted to stay there, why did you take his phone back and not leave him on an island without a way to get home?
So, Alexis, I do want to ask you this. Bubba is asking in the chat, what was the fight about? Do you know what the fight was about?
Do not. I think it was like just people got heated. There was obviously drinking and stuff, and they were probably arguing about something and it just escalated more than it should have. But in the videos that you can see, obviously the fight was loud enough and big enough to cause all the other surrounding boats to pay attention and that be the main focus of what everybody was seeing at the time.
And Alexis, I do want to ask you something else. How long were they friends?
They've been friends for a minute. I mean, these people have gone to school together since elementary school.
I was gonna say that too. You got to remember, it's Mississippi. It's Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Most likely, them boys have went to school since they was little boys. Most likely, but that still don't matter when it comes to them. When it comes to race relations, that shit don't matter. That shit don't matter. Let's just put it that way. Tasha Nicole said, what do you think about one of the boys having a judge as a mom? Well, that means they ain't gonna be held accountable. Period. We already know how this story ends. We already know.
Yes, he was a football player. He was very good in high school and it was about to be in college. And he was very, very good at what he did. Shelley says small town Ocean Springs is 11.55 square land miles with 18 to 19,000 residents. Okay.
You lucky you graduated and they did not run you off. Nah, baby, they weren't running me off. Now, but I am gonna say this too. Because I had been in situations where like I remember coming back home from school, like driving from St. Louis is like 4.5 hours from where our campus was. So, you know, people would pile in their cars together and, okay, I'm in Columbia, Missouri, drop me off here. You know, I live in St. Louis, drop me off there. Or the ones that lived in Kansas City, which was the opposite direction. They would link up and, you know, carpool together, right? So I remember one time I got pulled over on a highway. I was doing like 88 in the 65. In my little Chevy Spark. I had a brand new Chevy Spark. And it was me and two white girls in the car. And I remember we got pulled over by that cop in a city called Shelby, Missouri, something like that. And I remember that cop looked at me. I was like, oh, shit. You know, but she just gave me the ticket and kept it pushing. But she showed, when I say it was a female cop, when I say she showed look, if she looked, she said, all right, I'm going to say this about my experience being black and being around whites, right? If I'm being very honest, what I benefit from when it comes to being around, and this ain't even a benefit, but this is what it is. What I quote unquote, what probably quote unquote keeps me safe a lot of the times is that I'm a quote unquote a non-threatening black. I don't speak a certain way, quote unquote, and I really didn't back then. I didn't have that many tattoos back then. I didn't start getting tattoos till I was 20. So I ain't even really had no tattoos. So I was quote unquote, I don't even think I had no ear piercings either. So I was quote unquote clean cut black, right? And I'm shorter. If I was 6 feet plus, if I was dark skinned, if I spoke a certain way, I know my experience with them would be different. Mm-hmm. And that's from when I was in college, even when I lived in Arizona. I lived in Arizona before a whole bunch of blacks started moving to Arizona. You know? Mm-hmm. Thank you. One of the good ones. Now that's some shit I've heard my whole life.
Yeah.
Not even just college. If I told y'all, let me tell you something. This is why I now have to even tell black parents, like,
thank you,
like,
TJ.
just be careful. putting your kids in all white schools.
Good to see you.
Because
sweetie.
I transferred a lot. I went to a lot of different schools. I went to all white schools. I went to mostly black and even mixed schools, right? And when I tell you the shit that has been said to me by teachers, coaches, people in positions of authority and power from the time I was little, if I didn't have a strong sense of self, baby, I would have been a coon. I don't know what way to put it. I would be a coon. One of the good ones. Another one I heard all the time. Oh, we don't even consider you black. You're black, but you're not that black.
Yeah. I've heard that one.
You're not like them. Well, you're better than them. Oh yeah. I could tell y'all some shit. I remember I had a friend, a white girl, Rebecca. I ain't gonna say her last name. Her first name is Rebecca, not the one I dated in high school. This is one like from childhood. White girl, freckles, fair skin, freckles, dark hair, all that, right? I remember her when her grandmother first saw me.
Predominantly white.
I overheard, why are you friends with them? But then later on, her grandmother said, well, that's the only that could come in our house. I never actually went to her house, but you get my point. Now, y'all might say, when I was a little kid, I was probably 7, 8. Now y'all might say, Storm, why you didn't tell your mom? My mama crazy now. My mama was crazier back then. Okay, and then was my mama's clubbing days back then. My mama was crazier back then. Okay, it's a lot of shit I didn't tell my mama because I know my mama. So it's a lot of shit. It's a lot of shit that I couldn't. A lot of shit in my childhood, especially when I was little. Not so much when I was junior high. When I was little, I had to just swallow that shit. Cause when I say my mama was off the chain, my mama was off the chain. Listen, it was a lunch lady. That lady probably dead now. It was a lunch lady, white lady, old white lady. I was maybe 9 or 10. No. I was still in Illinois, 9. She made a crazy comment to me in the lunch section. Oh, boom. My grandmother had came up to the school. It was like a family day at school, but my grandmother came. My mom had to work. Okay. So my grandmother came. My grandmother, well, she's passed away, but she was real fair skinned. So when the lunch lady saw her, she made a comment about, oh, I would have thought she was white. It was something like, oh, she's really light for a black woman. It was something like that.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I made the mistake of telling my mama that when I tell you my mama called a meeting, my mama called everybody because my mama highly confrontational. She don't give a fuck. Baby, when I say she went off. So I knew then. You know how like you got them people in your family or even friends that you do not call them unless you ready for a nuclear bomb to be released. If you ain't ready to go balls to the wall, you don't even tell them or bother them because they certified crash outs. You understand what I'm saying? You know they certified. Mama, I've seen my
TJ, I'll put it in the chat for you. I'll put my email in the chat for you.
My mama crash out. I know she's a certified crash out. You understand? I don't tell her some shit unless it's time to go there. And when you love somebody and you don't want to see them throw their life away, you just be like, look, it really ain't even that serious. And people will think you being a punk. And you be like, no, bitch, I'm really trying to save you. Because if I make this phone call, that's your ass. If I make this phone call, baby, that's your ass. So it was a lot of shit in childhood I could not tell my mom because she was Looney Tunes. I knew it when she told the front desk lady at my high school, who was really trying to treat me like I was a criminal when I wasn't. When she told that lady, she said, bitch, if I gotta come up there, I'm gonna blow the motherfucker up. I remember hearing that, and I was just like, "Mama, you going to jail? Like, you going to jail? You know what I'm saying? Mind you, that lady didn't give me no more problems, but it's just the point of like, when you know people loony, no, I'm gonna just keep that to myself. I'm gonna just keep that to myself. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, back to this. Enough about me.
Yes, and I want to ask another question from the chat. I'm sorry. Dark Chocolate said, my thing is, why did the boat really have to get towed back, and was his BODY on it?
There is some speculation, like this is just like hearsay, that the boat was owned by this dude Wyatt, but when the boat got brought back, it was parked at Warren's house, which is his mom is the judge or whatever. And somebody said they drove by like later that night and like they were cleaning out the boat. Like it was like dark night, not like regular time when you would clean out a boat. It was like later at night. And then there was a girl on the boat that's not in any of the pictures or wasn't the girl that he was talking to. And when she got back on land, she turned off like her Snap location, but her best friend still had her location on Find My iPhone. And she was all of them were at one house for like 4 hours.
Wow.
That's suspicious.
Yeah.
That's real.
Like
that's
what?
suspicious.
First of all, like if you got back on the 4th of July, you came back, you're supposed to be having a good time still. There's like a little after party, you're still vibing. Why is everybody's Snapchats going off? Why is social media is getting deleted? Why are we acting so suspicious? Like it's 4th of July. You just had fun on an island. Like what are you doing?
Exactly. Like stop it. Like y'all up for these comments just sounding fucking slow as fuck.
Yes,
Come
and
on,
Alexis, I do want to ask you too as well. So you did already confirm that one of the parents was a judge. So thank you for that. Also, I wanted to ask you, can you confirm that all of their social media has been scrubbed? So is it scrubbed or is it deactivated?
Only 2 of them are deactivated, but a couple of them are just private now. But the mom judge, she did deactivate hers.
Wow.
Well, okay. And what they're going to say is we deactivated our social media so we wouldn't be attacked in the comments, but we really know what it is. Bitch, you hiding evidence. Here's the thing. Anything they delete can be retrieved. We already know that. Nothing you put in this phone is ever really truly deleted. Let's be clear. You know, like, I hope y'all know that. Anything you take a picture of, you type, a voice note, you look up, you search, you can delete it, you can wipe it, but a person that know how to get in this baby, they can get in here and retrieve anything. So ain't nothing, it lives in the cloud forever, whatever the cloud is. Shit, might be the damn Antichrist, but anyway, or maybe AI. Anyway, that ain't the point. Ain't nothing ever fully deleted. So best believe, if they really want to get them text messages, they can. They can delete whatever. They can delete whatever off Snapchat. They can delete whatever. If it's been transmitted in this phone, baby, it's in there forever.
It's there.
So only 2 of them are actually, so 3 of them, I guess, are deactivated, and then the rest of them are just private.
Alexis, I have a question. Based on what you know of the friends, can you shed light on their dynamic? Is Wyatt and Warren closer than, I don't know, the other guys? How does Nolan fit in the group? Is he at the bottom? Is he...
I don't know, like, their dynamic personally, but, like, they've all played sports together. Wyatt actually went to my school, so he didn't go to the same school as the other 3 kids that were in the picture. And actually the picture that's circulating, Wyatt's not even in that picture.
Ah, okay.
But the person that was to the left of him with the long hair and the black glasses, that's probably who he was the closest with. But the other ones, like, they're just friends that have been together. Like, we've all been at people's parties. Everybody hosts different ones. So, like, we all know each other from each other.
So the blue glasses is who he really doesn't know. I'm looking at the picture now. The people.
No,
with
he
the blue
knows
glasses.
all of them. But if he was like to be closer to somebody, it would be the
boy that was wearing the black glasses.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Wyatt is he was the quarterback for Biloxi.
Now, was this an actual physical altercation that took place on land? Or
somebody did get in a fight and that somebody got hit, but this was on land. It wasn't in the water.
Okay, see, because I've heard and read certain things of, arguments, fighting, and, you never know exactly, but you being a source is nice to know that there was an actual physical altercation.
Okay, I'm gonna leave that there. I just wanted to play that because Nolan's friend hopped in that young lady's TikTok and
it's a storm show. It's a storm show.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I'm sure this will be continued. We're just at the very beginning of this thing. But this needs to be widespread information because doggone it, it wasn't out there a few days ago. It was not out there in mainstream media. It was right here on independent media, YouTube, Instagram, So I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the live. I appreciate all of you that hung with me this afternoon. And I apologize for some of the nasty comments that came through here. And I had to show restraint. And I didn't show restraint as much as I should have. But nevertheless, please like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. I'm just getting back into the hang of doing this, so I appreciate your patience with me in this. It's been a while since I've gone live and really brought forth content in this fashion. So, again, thank you so much for joining me here. I appreciate you guys. And from the day ones, I love y'all. Satin, I love you to death. It's so good to see you again. So, you guys be blessed. Have a good weekend. Turn your notifications on. And in the event that I go live again, just turn on your notifications. I'd love to have you. Take care.
Hey there, my kinfolk. Thanks for stopping by. Auntie Mickey's house, where we reach for the sky. Every comment and smile, you make my heart glow. Together we're strong, together we grow. From gossip to politics, we cover it all. Sharing laughs and thoughts, having a ball. Your support means everything that I know. My gratitude runs deep as the sea. Thank you for being here, for sharing your time with each comment, with each rhyme. You're my kinfolk, my family, my crew. So much love to all of you. Turn up the camera, let's make it bright. Your support lifts me up, takes flight.